and act like a nut.
Bruh.
That's so terrible. You could say that the stars have aligned. There is some interplanetary whatever eclipse happening because on this episode, finally, one of the most important people in Putti is the person I'm going to interview. You guessed it, or maybe you didn't guess it. It's Sean.
Yeah!
Sean.
Thanks for the intro, Tony.
So I'm gonna give a little bit of a blurb about Sean, but he will be the one to actually tell us what he really does and what his role is here at Putti. But I would say the bridge between what a business does and how their goals and their objectives translate into a technology project that Putti can then deliver. But Sean, welcome to Lunchtime.
Thank you, Tommy. Glad you've got your space back. I know you were being interviewed last time. I was about to...
that was weird.
Yeah, how's it like to be back in your seat?
Oh, it feels good.
Yeah.
Feels good.
It's good.
Feels even better that you're the one I'm interviewing today. Sean is here. Sean, tell us a little bit about what you do here at Putti.
So I'm Sean, I'm head of product at Putti.
What are the things that a head of product does?
Yeah, so I think that's interesting. I think it's really just in the title. Honestly, if you ask any company, what does your head of product do? It's going to be very different. And it's because I think it's almost like, it's like agile. It's like you don't know exactly what that means. Yeah, as you were saying, like you're the bridge, right? The guy in the middle. There's a lot of stakeholders involved in getting a product going. And that's what we do, right? We do digital solutions, they end up being products. When a customer comes in and they've got all these great ideas, and you would effectively, at the end of the day, have someone like we would go and, as the CTO, understand exactly what we need to build and ask all these hard questions. I like to think of myself as the guy who is going to foresee those questions, ask those questions to customers, and make sure that they are able to, answer them in a way. But then also, putting it back, flipping the page a little bit, I can foresee some questions from the customers and make sure that I can ask those questions back to the development team to make sure that they understand exactly what they're building.
Underneath that, Sean is also one of the, what are you, like stakeholders of the company or one of the co-founders of the company?
Yeah, I've been involved with Putti for a little bit now. So if we go back a little bit, I met Jay through an event. We had a good time, and one of the things that he sort of saw me, I was at the time a student, just graduating, and he basically said, wouldn't it be great if you can come along and do a little bit of testing for us? We're just building this new thing. And so I said, okay, well, why not? Part-time gig. This is when apps were popping off and seemed like the cool thing. So I started my journey there with the team. I stuck around for about a year and a half as quick QA effectively, testing things out and giving suggestions where possible. I took a short stint out of Putti and decided to try out something else for a little bit. Did an accounting consultancy firm, grinded away there for however long, and decided ultimately that I come back to Putti and enjoy my time here. Since then, the guys have taken on, it's been a journey, shareholder of the company as well. But yeah, and just keep building stuff that we like building. And a little bit less hands-on nowadays, but things are still happening.
First of all, that's a lot to unpack over there. In this event that you were with Jay, hanging out, were there drinks?
Yeah, I mean, all of it was drinking by the end of it.
Effectively, you were recruited, finessed, and recruited into Putti without you even knowing it.
Yeah, maybe I was. Maybe I need to make a claim on all of this.
Oh yeah, and then you left, went into the soul-crushing corporate world.
Yeah.
And just when your soul died, decided to come back and join the adventure again.
Exactly.
Wonderful, man. How long have you been in Putti, like all up?
Oh, all up, I don't know. Probably less than 10, but close to it, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
The background is, highly logical, highly analytical, and highly kind of, business savvy type thing for you to be able to do what you're doing.
I mean, you bring up, highly technical, highly analytical, but I like to think of it as middle ground. It's like a jack of all trades, but master of none for sure. And I think it's an interesting thing to have skill-wise, because you need to know enough to ask all the right questions. So whether that be technical, it's like, okay, I went to university in computer science, so like it's there, but I've never really been a developer myself, you know, writing commercial code, let's say. But I've always kind of dabbled around with it at home. I'm technical enough where I can ask some of the questions, but
well, I think it's you yourself is an intersection of skill sets that allow you to deliver outcomes that a head of product can deliver or should deliver.
Correct.
Which is pretty cool.
What do you want to be when you grow up? I want to be head of product asking for these questions. But yeah, I think it's just a matter of communication, right? So it's okay, so let's say that you want to build a house from scratch. Like, you got nothing and you need to talk to him. So let's say you go to an architect and you say, you know, you've got 30 minutes and you kind of tell them exactly what you want. And then you go away for 6 months and you come back to get your house. It's not really gonna look exactly how you thought it would. And it's like foreseeing all the questions that might have to come up and asking those at the right times and making sure that there's enough feedback loop within the developers and the customers that you're building something as accurately as expected.
Great stuff. Great outcomes can be served by an agency, a tech partner, or even your own tech team if there is somebody who is literally this kind of intersection. I think Putti's success up to this point is driven by a lot of different forces, a lot of different things, but for sure, this is one of those driving forces within the organization. And Sean has earned his stripes and he's earned his nicknames. I've heard Jay call him Shawnee. Outside of Putti, what are your other nicknames, Sean, before we get into some really serious things?
That's interesting. I don't think I really have nicknames. Yeah.
Oh my God, man.
Yeah.
What's your rap name? Because I know, fun fact, Sean can rap. Do you want a sample?
Wait a minute.
No, but like, do you have a rap name?
No, it's really been just a hobby thing. I've never really done anything more serious than that. So
I can come up with some fun nicknames. Maybe Seanster, Shawnee, Sean the Man. How's that work, Jay? Is that okay? No? Okay. Cancelled.
Stop it.
Cancelled.
and then
Cancelled.
and then
So Sean, I know that you've been involved in a lot of projects that at the forefront of tech advancement, both here in New Zealand and globally. In your experience, what were like the things that you have seen to be happening in tech advancements, may it be within Web3, blockchain, AI, whatever it is? Maybe you could share a little bit of that you're seeing.
I mean, there's a lot of noise, I guess, right? Everything is hype, everything is buzzwords. Yeah, but I think I think AI is definitely at the moment the forefront of the buzzwords. You really can't even keep up with all the things that are coming out right now. I think what's interesting for me, at least in our space, when no code was the flavor of the month, this is something that I really explored. As someone who is technical enough to understand how things work, but I'm not a commercial developer. No code has been quite interesting in my view. Is it a way for them to be able to create products without developers? Because that sounds like a dream.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different products out there. I think where it really kind of made sense was something like Wix and all the kind of web builders that are out there.
Yeah.
That definitely, I think, is good enough where the use case is simple, all the templates are good, you just give it some colors and it's really nice.
Yeah.
There are other more complex no-code solutions, and like my view of those at the moment, it's very hard to maintain. They're good at prototyping, but they can never really be a great solution longer term. And there are good examples of that where we've had multiple clients actually come to us, and this is a few years ago now. They've come to us with a prototype developed all through these no-code or low-code solutions, and it works. But as soon as they went, we need more than 20 users to be using this at pace, and or we need to make a small change here. What's it going to take? And that's where it fails. That's where it breaks down. And that's the difference between, I think, hobbyists versus professional development. And so leading on from that, I would reckon it's it's AI vibe coding. It's all the other stuff that it's happening. When AI, I think, was first kind of developing, one of the things that people thought would happen is that you really dream it up, you talk to a thing, and then it builds the thing for you, right? We've kind of thought about this in a few ways too. It's really hard to get in there. If you've got pretty shoddy foundations of code, AI is not really going to fix that for you. And then here's the other thing. When you have AI fixing things for you, but you don't understand what it's doing, that's when it all falls down. Even now at Putti, we're getting a lot of inquiries that are like, hey, just got this thing, we just need to finalize it. We're 95% done though. So and so advancement in AI is really interesting. I think the way that you can really make it work is if you've got all the foundations. I've recently read a few opinion pieces, and it talks about how everything is going back from agile to waterfall. They're going, we need more structure around this, we need more documentation around this. We can't just nilly-willy have stand-ups with AI to make this all work. It actually needs to be documented quite well. I think that's an interesting piece. I don't think anyone's really fully cracked it. It's really hard to see because if you are swimming in these sea of LinkedIn posts, everything feels like it's so easy now. And it's because it's engagement farming. No one's going to get a lot of views saying, I really tried, but it's kind of failed. They're going to get a lot of views going, look, I just downloaded this template that you can have for $5.99, and then it's built the whole thing for me, right? So.
Oh my God, man! I just saw this video of Grant Cardone. Totally off topic, but he was like, "Everyone can be a billionaire." I'm like, what? I don't know, man. It's just all these things on the internet, man. But going back to AI though. There's so much buzz around it, but also the buzz is at different levels. There's a lot of it in relation to marketing. There's a lot of fear mongering around it. There's a lot of become rich through AI about it, but in our world specifically with the no-code stuff, on one hand, it does help entrepreneurs or ideators or people who are just really innovating. It helps in terms of illustrating what they're just really thinking. So when they come to us with a 95% finished product, they are able to actually show us something, which is kind of an ordeal that we used to wrangle without that, because we'd be like, I get the concept, but it's a bit it's a bit convoluted, it's a bit cloudy, but this time around when they bring something, they're like, oh, so this is where the customer would do this, so on the one hand, yay, right? It's good. On the other hand, when they come and say, oh, it's an 80% done, 95% done piece, I think where it falls apart or where people get stuck, and this is just layering on what you said, is the fact that it's like you're trying to cook a gourmet meal, but you're not a chef. It's a lot more nuanced, and you only really figure that out once you try to cook the meal, you cook the dish. And so when they get to a certain point in the effort of building out their idea through AI and a no-code solution, then they get, it needs to have 20 users all at the same time, or it has to be accessible in multiple parts of the world, or it has to have restrictions here, restrictions there, and they're like, but I can't really see the code, and when I do see the code, I don't really understand it. Then you still need to bring in the chef, so to speak. Right, and so.
Just on that, I think, so one of the things that I really like about this now, it's made it more accessible. It's made the development process for creating things more accessible for people. When tools like Figma came about, it made it easy for people to create wireframes. Even that was a really hard feat back, if you go back far enough. There was a point where typically when people come with an idea, hey, we need to build this thing, all they would have was the idea. That's it. And that is the starting point for 90% of your customers. Fast forward a few more years when creating wireframes and prototyping things is much easier. That's now changed to, let's say, 50%, and the other 50% have actually done the thinking, put some wireframes together, and actually their ideas now much more developed, which again makes it a lot easier for us to understand, oh, this is what they wanted, you know? And they would have answered some of these questions like, what would actually happen if I press this magic button? Before it was like, press the button and make it do these things. Now it's like, oh, I need to think about what that does, right? Now we've gone a step further than that, and now they're actually having to think about the logic because they can actually see the code working. So anyway, I think it's made things more accessible. It's great for us, but you see horror stories of what that does. There was a trending tweet at one point, probably a couple of weeks ago now, where effectively they vibe coded this waitlist page. It's like, hey, it's coming soon, blah, blah, blah. They vibe coded this waitlist page because he didn't really understand what the code was doing. In the background, what it was actually doing is capturing all the email addresses, putting them, like making it visible, not on the page itself, but sort of in the browser, if you know where to look, just so that you could show how many people have signed up. So they've just basically data leaked everyone who have put themselves in the waitlist.
Come on, man.
And this is a very small example, right, of how things could go wrong.
Even
if you're at prototyping or kind of MVP stage, that level of security, I think, is very minimum nowadays.
100%. Especially if you're going out commercially, I think you really need to look into it. I mean, I've always said that the reason they come through here is anyone who's vibe coded anything, they get to a certain point in their own development, they start to question the security, they start to question the stability / structure, and then relates to kind of sustainability. Will it start to break? When will it start to break? Or will it actually hold? And then the last one I would always say is scalability. Is this actually built to be built on as well, or is it something that's just going to be, if I needed to expand it, do I need to redo the whole thing? That kind of question, which I don't know if they know that they should ask that, or even ask the tool that they're using, or the AI that they're using, if, can I scale this? You wouldn't know. You wouldn't know what to ask, which is the power of experience and at the risk of sounding woo-woo, kind of wisdom, which you acquire only through getting all the scars, the battle scars in actually execution and doing it. And Sean's got a lot of the battle scars.
You needed to have had some downtime in your systems to understand how to fix those.
True.
So just on that security piece, so what you should now be, as a consumer, be quite wary is every time you're going on these sites providing information, you actually, previously you could kind of make the assumption, they're probably doing the right thing in terms of my data. You don't know that anymore.
Oh my God.
My disappointment is immeasurable.
You don't know that anymore. Be careful. And so what do? Just make up an email address on the spot, Sean, and use that instead of...
That's actually not a bad solution. And there are services out there. So number one thing you should do is make sure you 100% always use a password manager to store all your passwords, and actually have unique passwords that even you can't remember. You generate passwords on the spot for every account that you've got, and you need to make sure that they're stored in a password manager, and that way, even if your password gets leaked, you can't use it across anything else.
Can you tell that I'm using the same password for all my tools? I
can now from your facial expressions.
Oh my God. Do not use password 12345 on all your tools, or password 1234. You're not so smart just by making the 0 or whatever it is. So according to Sean, password generator and different passwords for all of the tools. Okay, Sean, here's a little dad joke. How do you catch a squirrel? Which apparently there are no squirrels here in New Zealand, so we're all good on that. But how do you catch a squirrel? Jay, do you know how to catch a squirrel?
Use a trap.
Hey, John, do you know how to catch a squirrel?
No, I have no idea what
Here it is. Go up a tree and act like a nut. That's so terrible. Oh God, that's so terrible, isn't it? I just wanted to give you something you can take away for the weekend, John. Everybody in the team is quite involved in AI. And again, it's such a buzzy word, but we are all at different levels involved in AI. And in terms of what we do and the future of it, where do you see AI playing a role, aside from, customers actually vibe coding stuff or clients vibe coding stuff? For what we do, where do you see it aiding us in our evolution or if not, causing us to evolve?
Yeah, I think that's the right way to put it. So aiding us is I think the key word. So it's how are people's specializations further enhanced by the aid of AI? I think that's how I would look at it. What you probably don't want to be doing is someone with no understanding of, let's say, I'm not a marketer. I've never really run Google Ads. I don't even know what's involved.
Yeah.
But theoretically, I could go in and use AI to run Google Ads, right? I could call myself as a Google Ad expert. But you just don't have, in my view, you just don't have the knowledge or the experience to know kind of what works, what to tweak. And so looking at all of that, I think the main point of AI as a tool is not to replace all of these things, but to further enhance the specializations. But you still have those specializations. Just because you can do it doesn't mean that you are the best to do that. And so, but again, like if you're just trying things out, just to understand things better, great.
Yeah.
Like that's also a great learning tool. And that applies to all of our practices too. Just because our, let's say, QA tester is able to read the code now through AI, get AI to explain it to them, doesn't mean they should be creating new enhancements or features with it.
Yeah.
But maybe they can still use it to, maybe there's a bug that happened, they don't quite understand why, or if it's even intended that way. But with the use of AI to analyze the code, maybe the tool can, make an informed kind of decision as to this is how it should work, or maybe that's not how it should work. But you still want that QA to be doing QA, and then the developers to do developing.
Yeah.
I think that's the way to go. And look, it's going to be a change. It's going to be a change in workflow. It's going to be a change in process. So everyone needs to kind of do their part to really enhance themselves and get familiar with the tooling. And that's what we do at Putti as well. Now, everything is kind of new. Nothing is of status quo. Learning a new tool is a new tool to learn. And that's what everyone is trying to upskill on as well, with the idea that it's going to aid in their specializations.
As a going principle, right? We, as a tech agency ourselves, we lean into it, right? We lean into it. Just because you know how to drive doesn't mean you drive an F1 car. You know what I mean? You still need horses for courses, and the usage of it is not the end all be all, right? It is kind of an enhancement.
Correct.
If there's anything to take away from this podcast is that AI is now our reality and it's part of our world and existence, and to some degree part of our process. But the conversation of, are you going to use it to deliver outcomes and results? I think what Sean and I agree on here is that it has to be backed, when you do that, it has to be backed by knowledge and experience and the scars to prove it, so that you understand what it's actually delivering, and you're not just gonna go off and trust it to be great when you really don't know what's underneath the hood, And so that's why there is still room and pathways for people in specialized jobs and roles in this world. And so I wish I could have another episode with Sean, to be honest. There's a lot more to kind of discuss in terms of AI and process and Putti. But we're gonna end here, unfortunately, sadly, but we are going to come back with more episodes this year, and hopefully we'll have Sean again.
Thank you very much.
By the way, he drove 100 kilometers away to just get here.
You just have to say that you're fine when you're not.
Anyway, we'll see you on the next launch time. Peace. in the streets. Bye.